Hi everyone, it's Eleanor. Apologies for the lateness of this video. I've not been very well the last few days. And also apologies for the change in location and the bad lighting. I need to change the light bulb in my study, so I'm on the couch. And it's, evening and bad lighting, but I want to get this done. It's probably also going to be a very quick video because this is my August wrap up and I'm in a bit of a reading slump right now. I have plans to get out of said reading slump because I have leave coming up at the end of the week. But I'll do a different video on the weekend about that. So this is my August reads. I only read 4 books, and of those 4 books, 3 of them were digital. The first thing that I read in August was Daja's book, also known as The Fire and the Forging by Tamora. This is the 3rd book in the Circle of Magic series, and this was on audiobook, as you are probably aware if you've seen my other wrap-ups in the last few months. I've been reading a lot of, Tamora audiobooks. So this is the 3rd book and I really liked it. And so in this one, Daja and her friends are going north with Duke Vedris in order to assess problems with, drought and stuff in other parts of Emelan. And this is about Daja, and so there's a lot of her interactions with traders, who of course are her people, but that she has been exiled from. And also there's a lot of the 4 children trying to pull apart their magics that have been combined in the previous 2 books, because it's starting to cause some problems. So that was Daja's book, also known as The Fire and the Forging by Tamora. So the second book that I read was a reread, and also a reread because Daja's book was a reread as well. And it's one of the Pride and Prejudice sequels that I'm quite fond of. It's called Vanities and Vexations, and it's by Sarah J. Waldock. It's possibly not the best written one I've ever read, but I quite like what it does with the characters. Basically, Elizabeth and Darcy decide to invite Mary and Kitty to stay with them in London for the season, and then they also end up inviting Anne Berg to stay with them as well, and it's basically the romantic hijinks that ensue. So yeah, I reread that because I was slumping, and I often find if I'm in a slump, rereading or reading a new Jane Austen variation or Jane Austen sequel will quite get me in the reading mood again. Then also, the next thing I read was the ebook of Tansy Rayner Roberts, and it was a short story called Kid Dark Against the Machine that was published by the Book Smugglers this year. I actually ended up buying the ebook version, and this is a sort of sequel to her short story Cookie Cutter Superhero, which was in the Kaleidoscope anthology, which I really, really loved. And so this is set in the same world, which is a world where every country was suddenly given many years ago a machine that creates superhero teams, and every 6 months it kicks someone off the superhero team and brings in a new one, and it decides their powers and it decides their name. So the first story, Cookie Cutter Superhero, was about a young girl who was missing an arm and who fought against the machine when she was chosen, and fought to be a superhero without her arm instead of growing a new one and knowing that she would lose that arm when she was kicked off the team. So that was that story. So this Kid Dark Against the Machine is about a young man who used to be a sidekick to one of the superheroes, and he's now living in obscurity. He's the handyman at a boys' home, and he's got a lot of bitterness as to how he was treated when he was the sidekick, and it deals with it's exploring a lot of things about the ethical dilemmas involved in actually having a teenager as a sidekick to a superhero, which is commenting, for example, did Batman have, for example, have the right to let Robin be a sidekick when he was underage and put him in that dangerous situation. So there's a lot of discussion in the story, which was really compelling, about what happens to sidekicks and how they feel, and how they deal with things when it's all over. So I really, really enjoyed that. So that was a short story. And then the fourth thing that I read during August was the only physical book, and I finished Magic's Pawn by Mercedes Lackey. So this is the first in the Last Herald Mage trilogy, which is one of her Valdemar trilogies. I'm pretty sure I have actually read this previously, but I'm pretty sure I read most of the Mercedes Lackey that I've read in a couple of years at university when I wasn't really taking much in and I was in a bit of a bad headspace. And so I actually cannot remember a lot of what I read. And so I was reading this again. This is about Vaniel, and he would like to become a bard, but he's his father's heir, but he's a young man who is not the butch macho fighting bash 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 kind of guy that his father expects. And so he gets sent to his aunt, who is a herald, and the heralds in this world are people who are bonded with companions, who are these white, intelligent horses with magic. And when his aunt is like, I'm not going to push you into doing what my brother thinks, that's a bit stupid, and he discovers that he likes boys, and he discovers lots of things. And I was having a conversation on YouTube with Kalinati, and about the fact that there's a lot of stuff about mental health in this book. And this book was, I believe, published in the 80s. Let me have a look. It was published in 1989. And there's a lot of stuff about mental health in here. There's a lot of stuff about dealing with bullying and dealing with homophobia and dealing with trauma and grief and what is basically PTSD. And I do wonder whether that's a lot of that is because the bond with the companion is the horse is a mental bond, and so there's a lot of thought put into dealing with being on an even keel mentally and emotionally. Particularly for a book of its age, the fact that it deals really positively with homosexuality and with mental health, I really quite enjoyed it. So that was the fourth book that I read in August. Yes, again, sorry about this being late. Sorry about the lighting and the location. And I will have another video out this weekend where I'll explain my plans. I have 10 days off in a row. 4 of those days are weekends and one's a public holiday, but I've also got a week leave. So I have reading plans for that, which I will let you know about on the weekend. Bye.